What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Life of a Car Guy podcast. I am your host, your driver, Pete, the car guy. Appreciate you guys joining me once again. Greatly appreciate you sharing your Saturday mornings with me and can't wait to get started. Boy, we got some stuff we're going to talk about today. So, you know how we do. Without further ado, let's get it going with the What's Going On segment. Talk to me so you can see what's going on. In my mind, I know I can dance. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, listen, just another milestone with the subscriptions. We are now up to 36. Guys, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. Any positive number means a great, great deal to me. And I remember reading, a long time ago that you never despise humble beginnings. We started off with just a couple, then it was 8, then it was 10, then it was 20. Now we're at 36. Really, really appreciate you. And, as we continue to grow this thing, as we continue to kind of develop this consistently, it just makes me think about where this is going. But I just want to just humbly thank everyone that has made themselves a part of this for me and on my behalf. And I hope you guys are not just doing this for me, but really getting something out of it. Because at the end of the day, I want us to have fun, want us to learn some things, and just have a good time. And definitely looking forward to hearing more from you guys with respect to how things are going, what you think, and also what I can do to help you out even more. Okay, so definitely want you to do that and make sure that you reach out to me at thelifeofacarguy@gmail.com. That's the email I'm using right now until we complete the integration of the website where you can actually like, subscribe, and comment there. But speaking of the website, www.lifeofacarguy.com. For those who haven't checked it out, please do so. Check out the videos there from past experiences. I've uploaded some videos where I was at the International Raceway for a few years and some other little odds and ends. Definitely check that out. Read, like, and subscribe to the blogs as well as to the YouTube channel. That would really, really mean a lot to me. So that's the biggest thing right now. So I've kind of been thinking about this for a minute now. I introduced the Take the Wheel segment. It's still under works, but I have an effective date on when we're going to start doing that. That's going to be the first weekend of March. One of the things I was thinking about was, do I do that uh, as well as the podcast, or kind of integrate it in together? And what I've decided, just to make sure everything is consistent, the podcast is going to remain the same. We're going to do my best to make sure it's published and put out there every Saturday morning. And the Take the Wheel segments will be an additional video that will take place. So the scheduled dates for those, or the timeframes from those, are still in the works. But we're going to record the first Take the Wheel segment on the first weekend of March. And I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be the inaugural launch of that. And, we'll show you how we'll get that set up. But it'll be really, really nice. It'll be more informative, of course, but more, I guess, one-to-one kind of dialogue with special guests and just kind of getting their insights as well. So it's going to be fun. I think we're going to really like it a lot. So anyway, moving on to the industry in the streets news. So this one was kind of interesting because back in late 2024, I believe it was Automotive News first reported that Honda and Nissan and potentially Mitsubishi were going to combine under one roof and become one conglomerate auto dealer. That was supposed to take place, well, it started off in late 2024 and early 2025. Talks kind of fell apart with respect to that towards the middle of 2025 last year, with Honda and Nissan deciding to step away. I know there was some kind of dispute and negotiations of who would be the primary leader in that union versus who would take kind of a backseat. But it was reported on Automotive News and Yahoo Finance earlier this week that Nissan and Honda are resuming talks to come back to the table and resume some form of a merger. I don't know, from what I've been reading and studying, it doesn't look like they're going to develop the full-on merger also with Mitsubishi. I think they're going to have more of a collaborative kind of joint kind of combination, kind of like what Toyota and Subaru did back in the late 2000s when they collaborated on the Scion FRS and the Subaru BRZ. For those that don't know what those were, that was kind of the little sports car, four-cylinder that came in an automatic and a six-speed manual. Kind of like a fun little ride that was also easy to kind of add accessories and kind of do some different things with. So I imagine, from what I've been reading, that it's going to be that kind of collaborative effort between Honda and Nissan. I think Mitsubishi may be a part of that, but we'll kind of see more of that a little bit later. So this is kind of a great segue to today's topic, and we're going to talk about style, right? So this is the most subjective yet objective category in the auto industry. And what I mean by that, it's subjective to us because we each have our own individual likes and tastes and style that basically flow through not just what we wear and how we go about our day, but specifically with our vehicles. Our vehicles are an extension to our own identity, really, and kind of what we look at and what we fashion as attractive to us is synonymous with the vehicle or vehicles that we've had or chosen to have over the years. So, when I think about style and what I like in a car, what interests me in a car, I think back to those games that we all used to play back in the day. So if you were around the way in the neighborhood, sitting on your front porch with your friends, and you see a smooth looking car drive by, you and your friends will be like, "That's my car right there," or "That's my car," or "Nah, that ain't your car. That's my car right there." That kind of thing. Or when you were on family trips, going down the highway and you see all the various cars that would breeze by you or you would kind of pass, and you kind of imagine yourself being in that car or driving that car or owning that car. It's kind of like we connect and identify with what looks good to us. You know what I mean? And that's kind of where the dreams and the aspirations and the imaginations really take into full effect. And a couple of things that I kind of wanted to kind of branch off on, if you will, and talk about a little bit more is just kind of like the designs, colors, and features and accessories. And, this was kind of really interesting. When I dive into these topics, not only am I doing this to kind of educate my audience, and everybody out there that's watching the podcast, I'm also getting educated as well. And it's just kind of really interesting when you see all the details and the background information of like how this came about. It's just, I don't know, it's kind of mind blowing to me, but I mean, that's me being a car guy, right? But when we talk about the first construction and design of the automobile back in the late 19th century, it took on the form of a horse-drawn buggy. And I mean, that was the basic mode of transportation, back in the mid to late 1800s. So, the designs were very much similar to a horse-drawn wagon, right? Now, in 1901, Henry Ford, yeah, that guy, Henry Ford, the owner creator of Ford, kind of revolutionized the whole auto industry by creating the assembly line. And the purpose of the assembly line was to be able to mass produce and consistently build the same structural vehicle throughout to make sure every vehicle had the identical look and the most efficient and the most effective way. And by doing that with the Ford Model T, that was the first U.S. made production automobile was done through the assembly line through mass production. Now, when we talk about designs, the evolution of design usually has been influenced by three major factors, and those are going to include technological advancements, societal changes, as well as cultural shifts. So the biggest thing, kind of today, what's really spearheaded the overall designs and innovations of vehicles have been the technological advancements, obviously. But What plays a big part is, society and culture. And kind of doing some research, one of the things that I learned, the 1920s, the Roaring Twenties, right? A lot was influenced by the what they call the Art Deco movement. So it kind of introduced some geometric shapes and very, very bold colors. Now, for us that has kind of been born late in the late century, 20th century or whatever, we don't have a full recollection of what those vehicles actually looked like back then because everything was recorded in black and white. But believe it or not, there were some very loud, very bold colors that were attributed to a lot of vehicles back in the early 20s. Didn't know that, right? I thought the base color might have been like black or gray or whatever, but there was some variations. So kind of interesting. The post World War II time frame in the late 40s and 50s kind of introduced some more metallic silhouette, like silver silhouettes and more chrome accents in vehicles. And then in the late 50s, you saw a lot of huge tail fins on vehicles. So when we talk about tail fins, we're talking about back near the tail lights where it kind of swoop up and out, look like fins on a plane, kind of that kind of design and that huge aerodynamic, large size kind of deal. Then in the late 60s to now, there's been a huge change to kind of what we talked about last week in the form of safety and bringing more aerodynamics as well as more digital tools, which is kind of revolutionizing the entire industry. But believe it or not, those designs and those specs and those imaginative setups that kind of brought about what we see today have spilled over into a lot of other industries too, that also include convenience, autonomous service, as well as kind of bringing and bridging more to a more user centered focus with respect to anything that we deal with as far as technology and just user design. So, when we look at that now in terms of kind of what makes us tick and what we like, we kind of gravitate to those things that kind of geared to our own special interest, right? So, for some, it might be the sleek design of a race car. For others, it could be the boxy, overall, very eclectic look of something like, the Kia Soul, that kind of brings about that kind of funky, kind of artistic kind of feel. And then, of course, you've got, the rugged truck like feel and look. And of course, the more practical use for families like the minivan, the SUVs, larger sedans, and even station wagons. We don't see too many station wagons anymore because they've kind of morphed into the SUV kind of style. But, all of those kind of not only served a function, but they also kind of identified where we were in our stages of life. You know what I mean? So it kind of helps us to kind of extend our own identity through our vehicles, basically. With colors, the other segment about that, colors have really revolutionized. When we think about the palette that's out there now, there's so many different colors. I mean, the first thing that comes to my mind is like a Crayola crayon box, right? So many variations, so many colors. But there are also different ways and styles of which how the colors are projected. So back in the early 20s, a lot of the vehicles that we were seeing were more of a flat-based matte sort of look and feel, kind of a brushstroke finish, nothing shiny, nothing coated or anything like that. And then you saw the kind of revolution of colors as they went along. You saw more clear coat, more metallic designs, more translucent colors. And nowadays, one of the things I'm starting to see in the industry is kind of a revisit to that matte finish and color, but with more of a combination, kind of flat look, but still a clear glossy cover. So it doesn't look like it's kind of like, kind of dry or without any kind of shine. So, that's part of how we've, been able to identify with vehicles too, based on what we like in terms of what we see. That's very aesthetic. It's aesthetically pleasing. So one of the industries that's really kind of broken off from the automotive industry and it's become its own industry in itself is the features and accessories industry. When I think about features and accessories now, I kind of go back to those, Fast and Furious movies. There are about 15 or 18 of those out there now. But when you think about the evolution of what we can do to customize and accessorize and really, really kind of make our vehicles specific and unique with respect to performance, with respect to look, finish, and feel, the accessory industry itself has kind of taken off on its own animal. I was doing some looking up some research on this. Believe it or not, as of late 2024, the automotive accessory industry is valued at a little over $537 billion worldwide. Now I'm thinking, wow, like all the different places like an Audio One or Audio Express, or there used to be, subscription catalogs to vehicle accessories back in the day. I'm sure they're more digitized now than just the paper catalogs. But, it's projected now that the accessory industry for automobiles will grow to a $1 trillion industry by 2035. So you think about that. That's just amazing that something that started with the automobile has branched out into something that is just kind of its own animal now. And it helps us to kind of uniquely identify with our vehicles and customize it in the way that we want to see, you know? So when I talk about objectivity and subjectivity, it is subjective based on our individual tastes, but I think it should remain objective to the community at large, because as we like to coach here on the Life of a Car Guy podcast, is that we want to be respectful of everybody's individuality and unique interest. And that's what makes this beautiful, because we can uniquely kind of cultivate our own vehicles in the way that we want. So, food for thought, right? But anyway, one of the things that I kind of love to talk about with respect to, dropping a dime, I love to hear feedback from, prospective clients of mine, past, present, and future. So one of the things I want to just kind of extend with the drop a dime, I'm going to introduce, a segment where I'm answering questions, or kind of assisting people, kind of like a call-in radio segment, right? So in addition to sending me emails, if you guys have any questions or concerns, definitely send me some things on topics that you think about specifically that you may have interest or want to have assistance with. And once again, that email is thelifeofacarguy@gmail.com. So definitely make sure you send those out to me. I actually was presented with an opportunity to assist one of my mother's next door neighbors. So I'm looking forward to doing that and kind of assisting her with her next vehicle purchase. So, the podcast is going to branch out into a lot of different things. Obviously, we've got the podcast, we've got the Take the Wheel segment, the blog, of course. And I don't know if I did drop this before my other segment, but we're going to introduce the Car Guy Academy. And within the Car Guy Academy, we're going to have three major segments that are specified to the audience at large. That's going to be the buying population, individuals or families that are looking to purchase vehicles, people who are looking to sell their vehicle, and those who are in the car industry or would like to break into the auto industry in terms of sales, getting instruction about that too. So the academy is going to include all that from an educational standpoint, and it's going to be on a subscription level as well too. So about 20 to 30 plus years of experience that I've gained in the automotive industry, I want to be able to share and give back to so many, to kind of educate and really bring that about and really share my love and my passion for cars as a whole, right? So I'm looking forward to doing that as well. And guys, the blogs are up and coming, so I want you guys to continue to check those out. The vehicle series has started. Definitely going to kind of highlight the vehicles that I've owned over the years, and there've been quite a few, and great experiences, and some that were very harrowing as well. I think in one of my blogs, I talked about the multiple accidents that I've been in, none that I caused, but definitely shaped not only my love and appreciation for vehicles, but just my continued interest. I wanted to share about them. But anyway, final sign off real quick, guys. Homework assignment. Once again, I need everyone to tell at least 5 to 10 people about the blog and the podcast. And if you guys haven't liked and subscribed on the YouTube channel, please do so. And please find 5 other people to do the same. The goal is to turn this thing viral as soon as possible. Now, mind you, the 36 subscriptions, I'm so grateful and appreciative of. But I definitely want to see that continue to grow and develop and, continue to be a big thing. Not just for me, but for all of us, right? And like I said, this is our thing, this thing of ours here, right? We want to make it into something that is enjoyable, but also inclusive for everyone. Not just those that are really, hardcore car gearheads, but those that are novices or those that may not have had an interest in cars, but would like to kind of get started. So, we welcome any and all types of all levels of experiences. Okay. So definitely continue to check us out. All right, guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and sign off and get this day rolling. So once again, appreciate you riding with me. Want to say praise God because He's always got the wheel, and though we may not always agree, it's important to show respect. Stay up, and I'll see you on the road.